We start with developing news right now in the fight about same-sex marriage here in New Mexico. The deadline to file arguments with the state Supreme Court for this issue has come and gone, with both sides doing just that. The justices set yesterday as the filing deadline. At least 4 groups submitted their arguments on this issue. This all comes after the New Mexico Association of County Clerks filed a petition earlier in the month asking the court to clarify what the law allows when it comes to marriage here.
Regardless of how any of them felt about this issue personally, they needed to be able to do their job under the law.
The ACLU, a district court judge, a group of law professors, and a religious group from Arizona also filed arguments, all on behalf of a group of Republican state legislators. The justices will deliberate. They will hold a hearing on October 23rd where they will hear oral arguments, and then they could make a decision that same day or sometime very soon after that. Many teachers here in New Mexico, it looks like, are not happy about a recent initiative by Governor Susana Martinez. It gives $5,000 to teachers who transfer from top schools to ones that have a lower grade. Union leaders say the initiative is both ineffective and disruptive, but an administration spokesman for the governor says the program is about helping students in struggling schools. The Santa Fe New Mexican reports that teachers in several districts in the north have already showed interest in this program. One local group is proposing a plan to help kids here in New Mexico succeed in life. As you may remember, New Mexico is last in the country for child well-being, according to a recent survey. Now the group called Voices for Children has launched a campaign to try to make things better. Among its suggestions, raising the minimum wage, enrolling more kids in Medicaid programs, ones who are eligible that is, and improving adult education. Advocates hope the campaign that's called NM Kids Are Counting on Us will be embraced by the leaders we elect.
It's going to take a consistent effort and messaging of making children a priority in New Mexico. Being 50th is not okay.
The annual rankings on child well-being are based on things such as quality of education, health, family, and community. Well, the city of Albuquerque says its Heading Home program, which helps homeless vets get back on their street, is showing signs of success. In the last 3 years, the program has helped nearly 250 people get off the streets and into homes. City leaders say it has also saved $600,000 of taxpayer money in just 1 year. They point to a UNM study showing the program has decreased time in jail and time in local emergency rooms.
We continue to do what is right, and that is housing. That housing continues to be the solution to homelessness.
The program started back in the early part of 2011. Good news, it looks like it's working very well. The money you donated is now helping wounded soldiers. The New Mexico Legion Riders left Albuquerque with donations they collected in the last year. They left yesterday. They're headed to the Brooke Army Medical Center in San Antonio where the soldiers are being treated. The donations were used to buy personal care items that the soldiers need during their recovery. Many of the things and money were collected during a phone bank that we had last month right here on KRQE. Certainly thank you for your support for those men and women. While this month's rain did a lot of damage, it's actually been good for many cattle ranchers we have found. Back in May, we told you hundreds of head of cattle, more than usual, were being sold off at an auction down at Berlin. Many cattle ranchers had to sell the cows early because they simply couldn't afford the rising cost of feed, all fueled by the drought. But now with the recent rainfall, one rancher we talked with in Valencia County says his cattle have actually fattened up.
Right now with everybody selling, we got rain, that's going to bring the cattle market up, so that's going to make it better for us.
That area received about 9 inches of rain earlier this month and even more back on Sunday night. Well, the drought map of the state of New Mexico at the height of the summer's scorching heat back in June showed virtually the entire state experiencing exceptional drought or extreme drought. Those are the 2 darker colors there, but look at it now. It's changed drastically. Here's the state about a week ago. Still dry, but a heck of a lot better after all the storms. According to the National Weather Service, this monsoon season is the 6th wettest since 1983. Well, folks in one county here in New Mexico we have found have the highest rates of health insurance in the whole country. The Census Bureau says just under 5% of folks in Los Alamos lacked health insurance back in 2011. Only Norfolk County in Massachusetts had a lower uninsured rate. McKinley County in northwestern New Mexico had the highest uninsured rate in the state. That's at nearly 32%. Statewide, more than a fifth of folks here in New Mexico lacked health insurance. Well, a new state program here in New Mexico aims to bring the birds and the bees into the 21st century for teenagers. It is called Birds and Bees. It's spelt a little funky, like a text, and it's a statewide sex text hotline where teens and their parents can send in questions about sex, relationships, sexual health, and safety right through their cell phones. Questions are answered by a health educator within 24 hours. Usually 6 to 8 hours is typical. Sometimes answers come back in minutes. The goal is to help better educate students and parents and teens and more, and potentially cut down on teen birth rates and STDs. Birds and Bees is a free, anonymous service that's being paid for through a federal grant. The Department of Health says texting is a better way to reach the younger generation.
They can, access accurate information from somebody without that anxiety of having that face-to-face interaction.
And New Mexico is the second state to implement the Birds and the Bees program. North Carolina was the first. If you want to find out how to access this, just head to our website at KRQE.com. So much for that old talk with mom and dad, I guess. Certainly makes things a little less awkward in the family, I'll tell you that much. Heads up for you now. The Bernalillo County Commission meeting is going to be starting today at 2 o'clock instead of 5 o'clock. They had to change the time to accommodate a zoning meeting that is probably going to go on for quite some time. That zoning meeting starts at 3 o'clock and it's probably going to go on for quite a few hours.